How's it going, everyone? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. First, I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you that has made this channel possible. The channel continues to grow and grow and grow. Thank you so much, everyone. If you like what you see and you enjoy the content, like, comment, and subscribe. Forgive me for the shaky cam. As you guys know, I really don't waste my time editing and all that stuff. I try not to. I like to do everything in one take. I like my videos to be honest and uncut. So anyway, I want to point out a hypocrisy before we review this. To all you man babies and gatekeepers that are out there, let's just say if I wanted to get this card graded, what would you do? What would you do? Ever since a certain black prism 1 out of 1 was brought to everybody's attention because a certain individual thanked a certain company for this product, everybody's losing their collective minds. Now you look at this Bryce Harper, you tell me, and I guarantee all the people that are bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining never even tried the product. Wah wah. And the same people, I guarantee, have pickup trucks and sports cars. And I guarantee you guys, you wax your cars. When you bring your car to a car wash, or if you have a garage and you clean your own vehicle, you use auto wax. I'm sure you do. Especially on the exterior of the car. It's not just the interior when you detail the interior of your car. I know I use Armor All. I'm sure you use auto wax to protect the finish of your car. With that being said, the same principle applies to these cards. In particular, the chrome cards. Look at how dirty that is, right out of the factory. And you guys know I've been opening these up on camera. And this is what they look like sometimes when they come out of these packs. Chrome suffers from this. What about people that restore old school paintings like, the Mona Lisa or Michelangelo, or, people that take care of stained glass windows in churches and stuff? Try the product first before you open your mouths. So with that being said, this is the infamous kit from Kurt's Card Care. I've been wanting to try this out because I don't like to believe things that I'm told or believe what I see unless I try it out for myself. And I have a whole bunch of cards over here that we're going to try out. All of them are from Mitchell & Ness, from the Topps Chrome series. And some of these are they just have dirty surfaces. One of them has a real deep scratch in it. One of them has a scuff. And then we're going to try a couple big boy cards to see exactly what this does. Now, you open it up, it comes in this little wee kit, okay? Mine, for whatever bizarre reason, was missing the tips. But fortunately, you can get these at Walmart. They're called gun tips. They are the exact same thing. I think they're like $10 or $12 for a bag of these. So that's what I did. I ended up getting a whole bag of these because I don't feel like waiting anymore to get tips. And you're probably going to need a lot of these anyway. I actually ordered another jug of this wax or whatever this is. But these are exactly the same things that Kurt will use anyway. I've watched his videos. I've watched other guys. So these are the same things. Gun tips. So you get them at your local super Walmart. So this kit was missing them. So everything else is here. So there's Kurt's card. Okay. And take that out of here. There's a bunch of these cotton swabs. I'm probably not going to use these because I got microfiber off to the side of the camera here. So we'll put those off to the side. And then we got this little bottle of spray. It doesn't really say. I'm looking at it now. And the writing on it's so small. It's just caution, keep out of reach of children, blah 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 blah. But there's no ingredients on it. So I want to open this up and take a whiff. See what it smells like. It's not rubbing alcohol. I don't know what that smells like. It's definitely, I thought it was going to be rubbing alcohol. It's not. And it doesn't smell like acetone. I don't know what that smells like. I've smelt it before, but I can't put my finger on it. But clearly there's some sort of agent that's in here. But it does have a bit of a smell to it. It's not like a really big, powerful smell, but anyway, we'll put that off to the side. And then we got the foam pad. I like to have a couple more of these. I'm going to see if I can track them down. But these are actually really, really nice foam pads here. I like that. That's good because then when you put the card down on the table, it makes for a nice smooth surface. So I'm probably going to use that. Then, of course, you got one of these eyeglass cleaning rags here, one of these microfiber things that you get with sunglasses and stuff. And, of course, there's your little, your little buffing thing. You put your fingers in there. I'm probably not going to use this. Here is the tool that he came up with. And just like he says in his videos, he took him a while to find the correct tubing to fix the corners of these cards. I'm probably not going to try this because unless I intentionally ding a corner, which maybe I'll do on camera. Let me see. But you got that, and then you watch how he takes paper cards and then blows on them and all that stuff and flattens the corners. But this is what I'm interested in out of this entire product. People have been calling it Vaseline. Well, of course, because they don't have it in hand. I do. So again, it's the same thing. I mean, unfortunately, the writing's tiny. Even with my reading glasses, I can't really see it. But there's no ingredients list on it. And we're going to see what's in there. I'm going to assume it's some sort of wax. It definitely smells like... I can't really place the smell of this either. I know I've smelt this before. And when you touch it, it is a wax. A very soft wax. Of some type. It smells soapy. I can't really explain it to you. But anyway, it's not overpowering or anything like that. So I'm going to put all this off to the side here. All right, we're really going to get down to this. So I got my brand new microfiber off to the side here, and I'm really going to give this a shot and see what this does because I'm curious. So, all right, we got our Kurtz Card Care polish right there. I got one of these gun tips, which are exactly the same as what he uses on camera, so there's really no difference at all. Now, I'm going to try out this Miguel Cabrera card because not only does it have track marks on it from the factory, but you see that wicked scratch next to his helmet right there? Right on this side of the card. I wonder if it can reduce that scratch. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to put this off to the side. Now he recommends kind of like swirling it around and all that stuff. I've seen a couple of his videos, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Do exactly like what he does. So swirl it, swirl it, swirl it, all that kind of thing. This is a very, very soft wax. I don't want to gunk up the card either, so I guess you just liberally apply it. Look at what he's doing. He's encouraging altering the cards. Yeah, you guys who say things like that, you use turtle wax on your cars. When you go to a car wash, they use auto wax to enhance the paint on your car to protect your car's paint and finish. You guys that do auto detailing inside your car and clean the inside of your car, what do? You use Armor All, I'm sure, or turtle wax or some other product. So stop that. It's true. God, are guys hypocrites. Try it first. I mean, I have my opinions about this, by the way. I'm not going to lie. There is something I am going to say at the end of this video. Because you have to think logically. Okay, I've applied it as generously as I can. And to tell you the truth, I really don't see... I could still see that scratch right through that wax. But I'm going to work this in anyway. I got plenty of these Miguel Cabrera cards, so I'm not worried about destroying it. As you guys know, I opened up how many packs of these already? Well over 120. I could still see the scratch through that wax, so I can tell you this isn't going to do anything for a deep scratch like this. All right, so let me push these cards off to the side. So I got... Oh, and he also does this too. He uses penny sleeves as well to like... hold the card down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like what he does. So take it, hold it down, and I guess you just right off with it, right? Or he goes opposite the scratch. So you know what? That's what I'll do. I'll go opposite the scratch and see what happens. Now I can tell you already, whatever dirt and grime that was on this card, At least on the top portion of the card that I waxed up, I can tell you already, a lot of that dirt's gone. But what did it do for the scratch? It did absolutely nothing. Oh, it did clean the card, but that big gash right there, it did absolutely nothing. And you can see it right there. But he also has said that if you apply it multiple times, it will reduce the scratch. It won't make it go away, but it may reduce it. So that's what we'll do. We'll put another coat, then we'll wipe it down, and then we'll put another coat. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. But so far, I see no improvement at all. So, I mean, it does clean the card. If there is surface gunk on there, here, like there's a little gunk on the bottom right there. We'll get into that. We'll flip this card around and see what it does for that. So I'm just going to work it. And then do like what he does. Go opposite of the scratch and see if it improved any at all. Let's see here. And absolutely... Well, it could be argued that it does reduce. Now that's a second coat. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to flip the card and get to that stain right there. It could be just a placebo effect. See, I got to be careful here with what I'm doing because I don't want to be infected by the placebo effect. I want to make sure I'm doing this logically and objectively. So. And like I said, I'll try this on a couple big boy cards, too, that I got off to the side here. But I'm going to work... now I'm really going to work this in. I'm almost beginning to think, is this like Gojo hand cleaner? It's not Vaseline. A lot of guys are saying it's Vaseline. I can tell you it's definitely not Vaseline. I'm wondering if this is like Gojo hand cleaner. No, Gojo hand cleaner is more like a gelatin almost. This is not. I mean, this is clearly some sort of wax, but... I just can't put my finger on it. So I'm really working this in now. Okay. And now let's see. You know what? I'm going to try to go with the scratch this time and see what happens. I mean, I'm really trying to be objective here. Okay, what do we got? And doesn't it, for a deep scratch like that, I wouldn't get your hopes up. It did nothing for a deep scratch. Did absolutely nothing for this card. The surface, the general surface area is definitely cleaned. I mean, it did take away the scratch a little bit. I mean, the scratch is less prominent, but see, that's the thing. I don't want, again, I'm trying not to allow the placebo effect to get the best of me. I'm really trying to be objective with this stuff. Well, all right, let's do this once more. And now I put a big blob of it on there this time. So let's see what goes down here. Now I'm really working it into that scratch. Okay. You can see there's a big chunk of it on there. I'm working it. All right. And I'm actually working it into the scratch. Okay. Now, go against it like he does. It does polish the surface quite well. That much I will say. I could see a difference on the surface of the card. But as far as a deep scratch is concerned, again, I just want to make sure it's not the placebo effect. Yeah, I can tell you it may reduce the scratch just a little bit, but not enough to take it out, as you can clearly see here. This card clearly cannot be saved when it comes to that, but we're going to work on that little dirt mark right there. Actually, you know what? I got a Bryce Harper that is a good candidate for this because it's got one of those track marks on the bottom that Topps Chrome typically has. So as far as deep scratches are concerned, it's a fail. Doesn't work. I can tell you that right now. So we're going to do what Kurt does. We're going to roll it around, stir it around, all that good stuff. I'm just wondering, is this, it's definitely wax, but it almost feels like waterless hand soap of some type. That's kind of what it feels like, or smells like. All right, so I'm going to work the Bryce Harper a little bit. There's a Bryce Harper, especially down here, has got that tire mark on it. The infamous chrome skid marks. All right, so working it. Dee. And we got a little chunk of goo on there, so we're going to take the microfiber cloth and just do like what he does and wipe upward, I guess, or work with it and then work against it, I suppose. That's how you do it. And then let's take a look. Well, it actually cleaned up quite well. So when it comes to surface gunk, I will say that it's a pass. It's definitely a pass. It cleaned up all of that really nice, I've got to say. I mean, I kind of rushed that a little bit, but let me just swipe, get a little bit more of that stuff on there and just work this bottom a little bit more. See, and here's the thing too, you also got to watch out for. Maybe it's just because I'm giving it a heavy-handed mauling. I could see on the edge of the card that some residual, whatever this wax is or whatever this polish is, will get on the edge of the card. I would suggest if you use this stuff to kind of like go like this and just wipe it off. But I tell you what, as far as the surface, all that surface gunk and staining from the factory, it took it right off. So in that case, it's a pass. So now we're going to look at a Mookie Betts that I pulled off to the side that has some surface scratches on there, which you see right there. So we're going to see what this does for this Mookie Betts card. Now I'm just wondering, after I'm done with this, I should really wash off this foam with soap and water. Because, you know, eventually you're going to get a lot of this polish or this wax or whatever this is on this thing, and I'm sure it's going to build up over time. So, all right, let's see what it does for this. This just might be glue or whatever it is. But I'm going to do the whole face of the card anyway, since I've got a lot of this polish on there. And this also has some of the tire marks on there, or track marks from the factory. So let's see what happens here. And then I'm going to try it on a big boy card and see what happens. So I'm going to work this like he would and just go in circles, circle, 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 circle. Okay. And then get the microfiber and then whew, just like he would do. Same thing. Same thing. And I'm actually going to get a new surface ready here. And I'm also going to swipe the edge of the card because clearly there's going to be a little buildup left from what I see. So when it came to the surface scuffing, it did lighten up the scuffing just a little bit, but not enough. Here, like I could see all, is that the wax? No, that's got to be, yeah, that's surface scratches and scuffs right there. So it did lighten it just a little bit, but not enough to make it completely go away, or at least not enough to be convincing. If, let's just say I wanted to send it off to be graded, I couldn't see this passing, but it did lighten it just a little bit, which is good. So now I'm going to go a little heavier and I'm going to work this just a little bit more. Let's see what happens. And then I'll pull out a big boy card. This is probably going to be like a half hour, 40-minute video. So, but I'm really going to work this. There's even marks in the helmet there too. So let's see what this stuff does. So when it comes to deep scratches, it's a fail. when it comes to just like surface marks and fingerprints and things like that, yeah, it really cleans up nicely. Now we're going to see what it does for scuffs like this. Like I said, I wanted to try this out because, like I said, when I watch YouTube content creators reviewing things, they kind of come into it with a bias or whatever have you, and I wanted to see with my own two eyes and try it myself and see what happens. And I can tell you that it did lighten up the scuffing on the helmet and on his shoulder here. But unfortunately for me, in my opinion, this definitely, if you're going to have this card graded, it would probably come back a really bad grade because a lot of the scuffing is still present. So in that case, I would have to consider that a fail. So again, it's good. It's good for like fingerprints and smudges and things like that. But when it comes to like deep scars and scratches and scuffs, I mean, I just don't see it. So now we're going to try this on a big boy. And I was trying to decide which big boy am I going to do this with. So you know what? I'm going to do it with both. All right. I have here my Corbin Carroll bookend 50 out of 50 that I opened up the other day for you guys, which you saw on camera. And this does have those same little itty bitty scratch marks that my out of 25 had that caused that whole controversy. So I want to see what it does for those surface marks that are like right here, right in the middle of the card. So let's go to work on this card and see what happens here. But let's do what Kurt does. He likes to stir the wax around, stir the stuff around, and then work it. So we'll see what happens. This is a big boy card now. And this is a card I would consider for grading because it's actually a really nice card, except for like what I said, them little surface scratches that this thing suffers from, like my out of 25 of this card did. I don't know if it'll help. And I don't want to touch the numbers either. I don't want to touch that bookend number on there. I'm just trying to work where I see those scratches, which is mostly here by the helmet and the bat and his shoulder. So, all right. Get the microfiber cloth again. Now, I already cleaned this thing with furniture polish just to get some of the surface gunk off of there from my own fingerprints and stuff. But again, and I've got to say, now I got to be careful here because this might be the placebo effect working on me again. I've got to say with those faint little scratches, I do see a little bit of an improvement. But again, I'm going to do it one or two more times just to make sure it's just not my eyes playing games with me. So, all right, I'm going to go a little heavier on this stuff and just work it in this time. And I'm trying to do it like how he does it. But then again, I got, big fat fingers, big hands. So for all you know, I'm probably mauling this thing like a bear. So, all right, let's see what we got. Okay. And I might try this on my Anthony Volpe out of 5 that I got. And again, I'm really trying not to push down. Like he says, don't put too much weight on it. Just, go with it gradually. Okay. Now I'm actually going to do this too, just to make sure there's no residual down here. I mean, I can see a significant difference in the shine of the car, but that's irrelevant. Again, that could be the placebo effect. And what do we have here? I can tell you that it did it did honestly reduce those scratch marks a little bit. There's still one that's prominent right here. I'm going to try to work on this one over here. There's one scratch on this shoulder, so. It's really not a scratch. It's more like it's weird it's really difficult to explain. Excuse me. Topps Chrome, it might be, I don't know. This set really suffers from a lot of weird stuff from the factory. Let me tell you. So, yeah, this set is just so prone to having like these weird factory issues. I can't explain it. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do after this card? I'm going to try it on my Anthony Volpe out of 5 and see what happens. Now I'm just going to work the rest of the card because why not, you know? I mean, again, like this is good to like take off dust and fingerprints and any type of surface dirt. But I'm going to be honest with you here. Well, let's see what happens. I mean, if you're really looking to clean the card surface off and you want to get dust and grime off, that's fine. But from what I'm seeing so far, okay, let me get another area of the microfiber I haven't used yet, so I have a fresh surface to wipe from. And just in case I have another microfiber off to the other side of the camera here. And again, I want to wipe the edges off because clearly there's going to be some residual. See, that's residual stuff right there. So, all right, what do we got? I have to be honest here. Now that I've done that, it did reduce these little track marks that you might not be able to pick up on camera. It did reduce them, but not enough, in my opinion, to make them completely disappear. There is a noticeable difference, though. I will tell you that. Because there's one prominent one that runs down here and like 2 or 3 of them that run on this side of the card here. I'm going to do this just one more time, just to be sure. Like I said, I want to be objective, and I don't want myself to fall victim to the placebo effect. You know? I want to remain as objective as I can, because I want to make sure that by the end of this video, I've given you an honest review of this product. I mean, as far as like surface grime is concerned and fingerprints and dirt, it works. It does work. I'll tell you that much. Like those rubber tire marks that this set suffers from, it does a good job of removing that kind of stuff. But when it comes to scratches and things, I'm telling you right now, I'm following his directions and doing everything that he does, at least to the best of my ability. I'm gonna swipe this even more with this stuff here. So, okay. To me, unless this was like some sort of epoxy, I hate to say it, man. And like I said, if you noticed I haven't sprayed this stuff, it's because I already cleaned these cards, you know? And I don't think that spray is a bonding agent or anything like that. I wouldn't think it is. Maybe on the Anthony Volpe I'm going to try out. I'll spray a little bit of that spray on the microfiber and then clean the surface. Maybe it is a bonding agent. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, this card was relatively clean anyway. So, okay. And again, I want to make sure I clean the edges because there might be some residual stuff on there. Now, there's still some of that polish left. I can see the swiping. I can see the swipe marks from the polish on here. So again, I'm going to rotate this microfiber cloth and just make sure I got all that stuff off of there. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Well, they are less visible, But in my opinion, if I was a grader, it wouldn't be enough to convince me to make this card a perfect 10. Let's just say if I were to send this to PSA or SGC, which now are the same entity. But in my opinion, I mean, I don't need any type of microscope or anything to still see those scratches. So it did reduce them quite. And I tell you, the card does. I mean, geez, the polish does make the card very, very clean. That much I will say, as far as like surface gunk and fingerprints and dust. But it's not enough. It wouldn't be enough to convince a grader to make this card be rated any higher. I can tell you right now, this is most likely, if I were to send this to get graded, it's probably going to come back a 9. I can tell you right now. So, but I tell you what, as far as fingerprints and stuff, it's good for that. It's good for dust, you know, but I'm not convinced that it does much for scratches. I think it's more the placebo effect than anything, you know, and I just did it myself. So, all right, we're going to try this on a big boy card now. This will be the last card. I'm going to flip this over because that surface is starting to get a little, you know, meh. So that's my Anthony Volpe out of 5. I want to see what it does for this because there are 1 or 2 little wee marks on here. There's one right on top of the bat. And there's maybe 1 or 2 right over his face. Like I can see this card getting a 9.5 because the scratches on this card from the factory are not as pronounced as they are on that Corbin Carroll. So, well, let's see what happens because like I said, most of it's right here. So again, we're going to take the penny sleeve and do like what Kurt does. Oh, wait. I skipped a step. Hold on. I don't know if this might affect. I don't know if this is going to affect anything, but and they also say don't spray directly on the card. Spray it on the cloth. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's try Kurt's spray and then. All right. And then I'll wipe it on the card and see what happens. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know what that's. It almost smells like beer. It does. It smells like beer. It smells like Miller Lite almost. It's no joke. It actually smells like beer. I don't know what that is. Maybe I shouldn't be smelling that. Man, I might croak when I get off camera here. Small-time YouTuber from North Carolina collapses in his dining room because he was huffing Kurt's card cleaner. God, can you imagine the headlines with that? Card collectors, man, and hobbyists would lose their crap. All right, I applied the stuff. What does it do by itself? Let me see here. Actually, there's still some stuff on there. Hold on. As he always says, try to. I want to make sure that surface is completely devoid of the spray. And we have a truly dry surface. So it did nothing for the scratches. It did clean my fingerprints off of there, but it really didn't do anything for some of the marks that are on here. All right, so let's do this again. We're going to do like what Kurt does. Swirl around, swirl around, swirl around. All right, we got plenty of the stuff on there. And then go to town. I'm going to go to town on the entire card and see what happens here. Because there are marks all over the card. But I think that's just more fingerprints than anything. Again, I'm going to just do like what he does. And I really don't want to get any of this on those gold numbers because I don't know how sensitive that foil is. I'm sure if I were to put that directly on there, the foil might not take kindly to being disturbed. All right, I'm going to flip the microfiber cloth around again so I have a nice fresh surface. And you guys are watching. This is on a Mitchell & Ness red out of 5. Anthony Volpe rookie card. We're probably talking probably anywhere between, what, $700 to $1,000 this card might be. I'm not sure. You guys can correct that or correct me in the comments section. See, and you also got to watch because, you know, you get this stuff on the edge of this card. I'm also going to swipe downward like this. I'm beginning to see a pattern with this stuff now, with just these few cards that I've cleaned. Okay, what do we got here? So, whatever, there were one or two faint little scratches. They're not as pronounced now. But there are still like these little, but that's only because I guess that's manufacturing more than anything. But that, again, this card, like most Chrome cards, suffer with those track lines. And there is a scuff up on top, which this stuff actually did nothing for. So I'm going to try to focus on that area. And then I'm going to give you, excuse me, my final thoughts on this. Because I am beginning to see a pattern here. Now I'm really going to go to town. Okay. Now again, you know, I'm doing a heavy-handed thing here. You know, I'm not as gentle as our friend Mr. Kurt is, but just double checking the back of the card too. Oh yeah, he does it with the plastic, so that's what we're gonna do. So we got the penny sleeve on there. I'm just gonna take the microfiber to it, and hopefully we see a difference. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm beginning to see a pattern develop here with this stuff. It did reduce it a little bit, and again, I just want to make sure it's not that placebo effect. See, and that's a problem too. You got to make sure you don't get the stuff on back of the card. I would highly suggest that anybody that's using this stuff, check the back of your cards too, because this stuff, I can see it's very tenacious if you're not careful with it. So you might want to clean the back as well. Which tells me you need more of these foam pads, which, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the foam pad works really well, so that this way you don't have to put it on a hard surface because you can inadvertently damage your card. All right, see, now that I did that, the back cleaned up because there was some schmutz on there, but I think that's just left over from me flipping the card on this pad. But the one scratch that is here, that's a factory scratch. You can see it right there if you focus carefully underneath the 2 out of 5. You'll notice it immediately. But this scuff did improve ever so slightly. And just to make sure it's not the placebo effect, I'm going to do this one more time. I'm really going to work it this time. Yeah, if you're going to get this stuff just to clean off the surface, I would highly suggest you get more of these rubber pads. I like these because it definitely, I would not want to put this on my table. Which, by right, I should have some sort of rubber mat or something like that to protect these cards before, you know, I polish them or clean them. So, I mean, I've worked that as best I could. So, okay. And again, yeah, you really have to watch with the edge or edges of these cards. So if you're using this stuff, just don't forget, in my opinion, very lightly go over the edge. So if you do go too far with this thing, just lightly get that wax off the edge. Now, what are we looking like here? So, well, the scuff is still there. Again, this is probably going to get a 9. It's definitely not 9.5. I can tell you this is going to get a 9, at least. especially with that scratch right there. It might even get an 8.5. I'm going to put a little bit more on here. So I can safely say that it does clean the card, but it only cleans the cards of dust and grime. I wouldn't get your hopes up or bet any money that it would take away any type of scratches. You know, again, I don't want to be affected by the placebo effect, as I want to remain as objective as I can. And from what I'm seeing, just from these 5 cards that I have cleaned now on camera for you guys, in all fairness, no offense, but I don't see it didn't really do much. And I'm being completely objective here. And you watched everything I did. It did polish the card. It did clean the card. It got all the surface gunk and dust and fingerprints off of that thing. But when it comes to surface scratches and scuffs like you see here and over here, it really didn't do much. If it did lighten them a little bit, maybe, but then again, that could be the placebo effect and just my eyes playing tricks on me. And maybe because I'm hoping it would take those scratches out. But at the end of the day, all this really is just, it's shoe polish. I mean, it's like polishing your shoes. And if you have scuffs on your shoes, it's really not going to do anything. Again, I want to make sure I got all of that wax off of this card here too on the back. So I have to be objective here. Does it clean the surface of cards? Now that I've done this myself, yes. Is it a reliable product to remove scratches, scuffs, things like that? In my opinion, now that I did it, no, does not do that. It does take away fingerprints. It takes away track marks. You know, like if there was a rubber reel that ejects these cards from whatever machinery Topps uses, yeah, it removes stuff like that. Do I have another? I should have another card. I mean, God, I got so many of these cards here. There's got to be one of them that has those tire marks. Here, like the Miguel Cabrera, the 2 of them that I got here. You see those tire marks on the bottom of the card? It takes those off it, no problem. Or like if I have fingerprints, takes them off with no problem. But when it comes like here, you can see scratches here on this Miguel Cabrera. It won't do anything. You just saw me try it on that other Miguel Cabrera. I guarantee it won't do nothing for this card either. So it's good for fingerprints. It's good for, you know, I guess machine marks. Like, you know, if they're using a rubber wheel to eject these cards. And you saw I even used the spray on it, on this card in particular. And that's a big boy card right there. And it, in my opinion, it cleaned the surface, but it did not do anything for the scratches. So what are my final thoughts on this product? Let me just look at the Corbin Carroll one more time that I buffed up here. And I want to put that in a new penny sleeve too, because that penny sleeve is just a little wonky. And again, now I'm going to really get into the meat and potatoes of my commentary here. Okay, I have to be objective here. And again, this is not to bash the man as a person. I'm sure Mr. Kurt is a very nice guy. But after doing this and testing this product myself on these particular cards, I mean, I've watched his techniques, what he does with vintage cards, but we're talking about modern cards now, or ultra modern. And to me, it did nothing for the surface scratches. It may have reduced them a little bit, but then again, that could be just my eyes playing tricks on me. And it could be also a placebo effect. That, you know, I'm hoping it takes away those scratches, but, you know, you have to be realistic. whatever process Topps uses to coat these cards with whatever, I don't know what it is they're using, if it's like some sort of top coat or resin or whatever it is. I would not get your hopes up with this product, to be honest with you. If you want to give your cards a general cleaning, yeah, go for it. I don't think that this product is altering the card in any way, because now that I've seen it with my own two eyes, all it really is a surface cleaner. It's like buffing your shoes with wax. That's all this is. It did really nothing for the scratches. It did nothing for the scuffs. It did do a lot for the stains that were on here and fingerprints and surface dust. But again, I believe that's the placebo effect. It does clean the card well as far as, surface gunk and fingerprints, but everything else, I don't. The results are very minute, which also begs another question. Now that this product is on these cards, who's to say now that if this is a wax and these cards get slabbed, let's just say if I send these in to get slabbed, what if I have these cards sitting in a hot area somewhere and wax melts? Excuse me. Wax melts. I'm even going to try it on the 99 Corbin. Wax is highly affected by heat and cold. So if I have these cards graded and these are sitting inside slabs, well, what's going to happen to this wax, this polish that's on there? If any actually does remain inside these scuffs and scratches, well, will this stuff melt out of it? You know what I mean? So for the short term, if you're not going to have your cards graded and you're just cleaning your cards, you can see some of the dirt off of this card that's here. So that's a good thing. So I didn't. This is one of the cards I haven't cleaned yet with the furniture polish, so I'm doing it raw. Where Kurt's here. Yeah, you could definitely see, I didn't clean this card with the furniture polish. It definitely cleans the surface area, but it does nothing for surface scratches, at least from what I'm seeing. And I'm trying to do everything that he does. And I've watched plenty of his videos. Unless he's doing something that I'm not doing, or if I screwed up, of course, you also have to figure in, human error, the human factor. We do make mistakes, ladies and gentlemen. So I might be doing this completely wrong. But I've done the basics after watching what Mr. Kurt did. So now I'm going to just make sure that the corner here, or the sides of the card, are actually clean, because I don't want any of that buildup on there. Check the back of the card. There's nothing on back, right? No. Okay. So there's still a little left over here. Just get that off of there. Yeah, you definitely have to wipe this off once or twice, because it does leave behind a lot of material. And here again, I'm looking at the card, and it did nothing for those scratches, the factory scratches. Once this type of surface, I think once it gets scratched, there's really not much you can do, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, because there was a little bit of, that might have been just dust from my own hand. So again, I'm going to look. It does. All right. Here are my final thoughts on this. Now that I just did this, what I just saw on this card, it actually really did reduce that. So if there are really, really faint marks on the card, as far as scuffs and scratches are concerned, and I mean the slightest scuffs and scratches, it does tend to lighten them up. That much I will say. I'm not convinced that this product will do anything for larger scratches, just like the factory scratches that this set, unfortunately, is replete with. It does reduce them, but it's not enough to take the scratches away, unfortunately, because these machine scratches are so embedded into the card that no matter how many times you apply this stuff, it'll reduce them, but it's not going to do anything really, in my opinion. Fingerprints, um, skid marks from, I guess, whatever rubber wheel is ejecting these cards from the machines cleans those up real well. Stains, things like that, cleans it up well. Dust cleans it up well. It's hit and miss. It's really hit and miss with this stuff. To tell you the truth, I'm on the fence with this product. I'm not going to put it down, but I'm not going to hype it either. I'm going to do this one more time because this video is almost an hour. I'm just going to upload it as is. Probably take like a half hour or so for me to upload this on YouTube. But for me, it's hit and miss. It's very hit and miss. And again, I'm doing exactly like what he did in his videos. And here, now I'm going to use the tip for these scratches that are here specifically. And these are factory scratches. But I'm not convinced. So everybody that's out there whining and complaining, I think you can take a sigh of relief that this is not really doing anything to alter the cards, not at least in the way you think it does. Now that I'm doing this myself, all it's really doing is just cleaning the surface. Really, that's all it is. To me, this is like Windex. That's the only way I can describe this product. It's like cleaning your windows with Windex and nothing more. Yeah, see those lines. See, again, it's the placebo effect. I don't want to say that it's filling in those factory lines. But again, you see all the dust and dirt. The card does shine well, but to me, it's not really altering the card. And then again, let's just say if it did fill in all of these scratches and scuff marks, and this is sitting inside of a slab, and let's just say it's in high heat or not stored properly, I mean, will this wax melt out? If that's one thing I will say versus like the furniture polish I'm using, it does make the card shine a lot more. It does. You can see, at least in my opinion, compared to like furniture polish that I've been using all this time, it cleans up a lot cleaner than using furniture polish. That much I will say. But again, you have to be careful with the edges and stuff like that because you just might get some buildup. But for me, it's hit or miss. That's my opinion. I wouldn't worry about you guys thinking that the cards are being altered in any way. In my opinion, all it really is a surface cleaner and nothing more. That's all it is. But that's on these cards. I can't speak of vintage. But after doing this, guys, I mean, I'm not convinced. I mean, it does clean up a lot better than furniture polish. But for me, it's just a surface cleaner. It's like taking furniture polish to a wooden cabinet to get all the dust and dirt and fingerprints off of it. After that, I don't really see that much of an improvement. If it does fill in some of these scratches, you would have to sit here and sit here and sit here. But then that begs the question: if you do fill in all of these scratches, who's to say that wax doesn't melt out over time if you decide to slab this? So it's very, very hit and miss. And that's all I can really say about it. I mean, I've done it now. I've tried it on these cards. I'm not convinced. Again, I'm not bashing the product. I'm not bashing the man. And I'm not attacking the man. I would probably have a beer with the guy any place, anytime, any day. But in my opinion, unless I'm doing something wrong, I could have done this wrong. Human error, also plays, has a play here. Or is in play, I should say. But after doing this with these three big boys here, and then trying that on this Miguel Cabrera card, I mean, I see no difference. All the other marks came off, but that scratch is still there because it's deep. Again, I don't know, guys. This one is up in the air for me. It's a toss-up. It's a good surface cleaner. But as far as repairing scratches and stuff like that, unless I'm doing it wrong, and if Mr. Kurt, if you happen to watch this video, if I'm doing something wrong, correct me and I'll go back and I'll try again. But I've been here for an hour doing this. I don't really see much going on. I'm on the fence. What do you guys think? I wouldn't worry about this product if you think you're altering cards. It's a very good surface cleaner. It's a very nice surface cleaner. I'd rather use this than use this because this way I don't have to spray stuff all over the place. And if you're allergic to sprays or you have asthma or something like that, you might not want to use that. You might want to switch to this. So that's a good thing. But after that, guys, I mean, I'm on the fence with this one. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? All right, that's my video on this topic. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, this is not to bash the product. This is not to put anybody down. I'm not here to attack anybody or disparage anybody. I will say it is a good surface cleaner for these cards, but everything else, I wouldn't really get your hopes up, and I really wouldn't worry about this altering the cards in any way. It does polish up cards better than this stuff. I will tell you that. And it's less of a mess because sometimes, if I'm not paying attention, I'll spray this all over the place. Or, sometimes I'll spray too much on a microfiber. But this is very targeted and very direct. I actually like this better than the furniture polish. But after that, guys, I don't know. I just don't see it. What do you think? Comment in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. I am your host, the Carolina Collector. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And until next time, I will see you soon.